Where is she?
You're looking at her.
I don't understand.
Isn't it obvious, Morty? I f***ed a planet.
Rick finally did it. And by it, I mean a planet. You thought he topped off at a singularity, but I guess not. So, let's talk about all of that with Childrick of Mort. The family's all together, and as dysfunctional as ever. Jerry wants to take everyone on a family camping trip to get away, which for him is a certain leg up away from anything sci-fi, whereas the kids are, well, typical teenagers. To try and ghost Gaia, Rick begins building a Faraday box. A Faraday cage or shield is an enclosure used to block electromagnetic fields. As such, one of its uses has been to help RF receivers block external radio frequency interference, hence why Rick would be using it to try and ghost Gaia. When the family makes it to the planet and Rick's supposed children are born, they all say, "I am." This is likely a reference to Moses in the Old Testament. When Moses encounters the burning bush, he asks why God has sent him to the Israelites, and God responds, "I am that I am," at least in one common English translation of the Hebrew.
They will ask, "What is his name?" And how shall I answer them?
I am that I am.
I am.
This may seem like a stretch with them saying "I am" alone, but considering we're going to see more Moses references later in the episode, this is very likely the reference. The title of the episode, Childrick of Mort, references the book and film Children of Men. In Children of Men, humankind has gone infertile for 2 decades until finally a woman is discovered who's shockingly pregnant. Summer and Morty are forced into camping with Jerry while Beth and Rick raise Gaia's children together, and here, Summer commits the blasphemy of throwing out a perfectly good s'more. She also absolutely lays into Jerry, to which Morty retorts,
Jesus Christ, you really need to stop hanging out with Rick.
While it was always obvious Rick was a giant asshole, this season we've been seeing a good amount of his bad influence rubbing off on the children and it being directly called out as just that, a bad influence. It could just be after certain incidents post-season 3. Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon decide to double down on the fact that Rick is an asshole and shouldn't be looked up to or imitated. This, of course, plays off again later in the episode when Summer and Morty accidentally save Rick after nearly killing themselves from getting high and treating a random spaceship like a video game. While they realize the error of their own ways, Rick could care less.
Papa, we played video games and got high. We did wrong.
Whoa, little boopas. Come on now. You kids, you did real good here. You did good. Getting high and playing video games is the best. I swear to God.
But Mom and Dad are gonna be mad.
Oh, hey, look, no. Your mom and dad.
When Rick and Beth are creating their society and the clay people are going through a conveyor system, we quickly see a number of electronic billboards, many with standard math equations. I personally got a kick out of one which shows a pie chart next to a picture of a pie. The scene afterwards randomly sorts them into Earth belief systems, where we get a joke about if they believe around Earth, flat Earth, or Middle Earth. Middle Earth being a reference to Lord of the Rings, with Middle Earth being its setting.
Okay, the therapists are getting bored. We need to increase their supply of incest porn.
This is likely a joke about Sigmund Freud, as psychoanalytic therapy and psychoanalysis are based on his works. Sigmund Freud believed all children have an Oedipus complex for their opposite-sex parent, which healthy children eventually grow out of.
What the hell is that?
The unproductives. God damn it, how are there so many of them?
Unproductives?
Yeah, DJs, foodies, influencers.
Influencers. Being called out like that makes me feel down. And you know what I do when I'm down? Grab myself an amino energy drink to give myself that boost that I need. Hashtag active life, hashtag make yourself feel good. Amino energy, where it's at. Get one now, link in the description. While the end of season 3 has Beth telling Rick the following.
We're a real family now. In many ways, things will be like season 1, but more streamlined. Now Jerry and I are happily married parents, and the idea that I was motivated by a fear of you leaving can be eschewed.
She still lashes out at him about not raising her properly in the beginning of the episode, and later squeals at Rick finally acknowledging her as his true daughter. Jerry, meanwhile, becomes the leader of Rick's unproductives, teaching them how to camp.
There you go, guys. Pump those cheeks. That's the camping spirit.
Not sure what Jerry's camping experiences of the past were like, but this holds a whole lot of implications to it. Notably, Jerry raises and takes care of all of the clay people deemed unproductive who are tossed from Rick's society. They then rebel against Rick's established society and start a war. I don't really think that Rick and Morty tends to be all that deep of a show, but this does send a message about acceptance. that even the outcasts from society deserve some sort of place and should be allowed to find their path, as rejecting them and being cruel will lead to resentment and potentially war. It's super minor, but something I noticed in rewatching was that Rick and Beth's champagne bottle they used to christen SS Salvation is shaped like a mini rocket ship. Reggie, a godlike being, turns out to be the true father of the various clay people. This means they're probably actually meant to be golems, an anthropomorphic being created from an inanimate matter such as clay or mud that has been showcased in both Jewish folklore and the Bible and Psalms.
Sweetie, you handle the hippies, I'll handle the off-brand Yahweh.
According to the Old Testament, Yahweh is the name of God. That said, his name is often considered too holy to be spoken, so he's usually referred to as Adonai or Lord. Inside his cloud, he looks just like Zeus from Greek mythology, albeit with some tattoos. One of these is the Greek letter Phi, one a star, and the other a lightning bolt armband. Reggie gives Jerry biblical powers, which are all a reference to Moses from the Old Testament.
If it's God power that gets you going, light some candles and put on the Billy Ocean, because Moses is home, and he's ready to burn some bush.
Jerry parts the seas, just like Moses did for the Jewish people escaping from Egypt. He also casts a plague of locusts, one of the 10 disasters God inflicted upon the Egyptians in order to free their slaves. Meanwhile, light some bush refers to when Moses spoke to God, who presented himself as a burning bush.
Wow.
Ask God for a flood next time, it'll come with a shower.
This being a reference to Noah's Ark. After Reggie is defeated, an angry Gaia fills the planet with volcanoes and lava, very reminiscent of the idea of Norse mythology's Ragnarok. Ragnarok occurs after a great battle in which various Norse gods are killed, leading to natural disasters and the world being submerged in water. We see Rick battle a god, the god dies, natural disasters erupt, and Rick ends by telling the Golems he won't build them an ark, referencing the eventual flood. In the stinger, we see Rick watching an advertisement for the hot and steamy dating site Planets Only.
Let's terraform, or colonize me as I am.
Terraforming is the concept of modifying the topography, environment, or other aspects of a planet to fit another, which we typically think of as modifying to be like Earth.
There's a hole in my ozone. I didn't put it there, did you? I can't fill it by myself. I'm not smart enough.
Young, dumb, and orbiting a sun.
The ozone layer is a part of Earth's stratosphere that absorbs most of the ultraviolet rays and radiation from the sun. A hole opens every autumn in the South Pole, which slowly closes over time.
I want you to split my Pangea into distinct continents.
Pangea is the name given to the supercontinent on Earth, when in ancient times, all of Earth's continents merged into one massive one, before continental drift and tectonic plates shifting changed the continents into what we recognize today.
I don't have hydrostatic equilibrium yet. Is that something you can learn?
Hydrostatic equilibrium is when a celestial mass, such as a rock or ice, has enough mass and enough gravity that it causes the mass to become spherical. It can also be the distinguishing factor between a planet, dwarf planet, and a small solar system body. That wraps up Childrick of Mort. Was there anything I missed? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time for some hashtag energy. Later, guys. Peace!